Fabrizio Romano has said the words that we have been waiting for so long. Cristian Romero to Tottenham. Here we go. Tottenham are set to sign last season's Serie A Defender of the Year on a 5-year contract for €55 million from Serie A side Atalanta, in what could be an absolutely huge deal for Tottenham going into the new season, and in terms of trying to get our defence sorted. It's come in the midst of the Harry Kane saga that I do feel will rumble on for the next 28 days before the summer transfer window slams shut. But it is positive news this afternoon, and positive news that we will be talking about during this stream, because Romero is set to join Spurs. We're going to look at the tweets that we've seen since Fabrizio Romano has come out with this. There has been many other outlets. I know Sky Sports are saying it's done. I think Thankful Patrick as well has mentioned there is in the last minutes again some breaking news that Tottenham have just confirmed the sale of Joe Hart to Celtic. They say we wish Joe all the best for the future, but that's one that we'll talk about a little bit later when we're live at 7 p.m. tonight. But the main news from this, Cristian Romero to Tottenham. Here we go. We're going to take a look at Fabrizio Romano's tweet to tell you exactly the words that he said in this one. He said, Cristian Romero to Tottenham, here we go. Atalanta have accepted Spurs' official bid for €50 million plus €5 million in add-ons. Barca have never been in the race. Atalanta are closing on Merih Demiral from Juventus on loan with buy option around €30 million in total. Paperwork's time soon. So that we knew we were waiting for Atalanta to get their replacement for Cristian Romero before they allowed the Argentine to move on to Spurs. This is a move the players wanted. And he's very publicly wanted, I suppose. He went into training with Atalanta on Sunday, and then on Monday had a meeting with their manager, Gianpiero Gasperini, where he told them this is an opportunity that he cannot pass up. This is something he is not willing to miss. He wanted this deal to get done for Spurs, and it's done. Not official yet. He is believed to be flying out to London tonight to get everything sorted, and we could even expect an official announcement for this one tomorrow, which is incredible stuff for Spurs. As always says, they're cheaper than Ben White. It's about £7 million cheaper than Ben White. And the exact structure of this deal is believed to be something like €50 million confirmed, guaranteed upfront for Atalanta, which is about £43 million. The initial €5 million in add-ons are believed to be very, very accessible ones. I don't know exactly what they are, but I would assume there's something like appearances or clean sheets or something like that you would expect him to achieve in a 5-year contract. Then other reports have suggested there is an extra €2 million within that deal of ones that are essentially add-ons that they don't think will be triggered, such as Tottenham winning trophies next season or something like that, which looks upsetting to say that it's something that probably won't happen, but it's a deal that is going to be done nonetheless. Taking a look at some other reports, Sky Sports have said that Cristian Romero is officially a Tottenham player and has signed on a 5-year deal. They say Cristian Romero is now a Tottenham player. It is a done deal. That's Sky in Italy. The Athletic say Tottenham have reached a €55 million agreement with Atalanta to sign Cristian Romero. You have Sky Sports News in England saying Tottenham have signed Cristian Romero on a 5-year contract. It's all coming out now, and this is one that I think we can take as done. I know Bobster TV will be sitting there saying till he's holding the shirt, but I think we can take this one as gospel that Cristian Romero is going to be Tottenham's next signing. And our first big signing of the summer, the first one that we can say will immediately improve that first team that we have, stepping in alongside suppose whatever player he ends up playing with. It could be Dyer. I think it's looking likely to be Eric Dyer in that opening game of the season against Manchester City, if indeed Romero passes fit for that one. But hopefully there will be another centre-back coming in. Romano said yesterday on Twitch that there is the possibility we sign Romero plus one. The potential of the others being Kurt Zouma and Nikola Milenkovic. So I'm sure we'll hear a lot more about that in the coming days and coming weeks now that this deal is done. And look, Romero is certainly a player that we've all heard a lot about over the last couple of weeks, but not one that we would have seen play that often. I know Serie A Defender of the Year last year with Atalanta managed to get them back into the Champions League, won the Copa America with Argentina. And the most impressive thing for me about Romero within those two teams is he played in a 3 at the back at Atalanta and then played in a 4 at the back with Argentina. So he is able to adapt to those different systems. Now, I personally do think he is better suited to a 3 at the back, because the way he plays, he needs cover and he needs people there who can get him out of problems, because he's such an aggressive player tactically rather than physically. So he'll be the one who'll step out of the defensive line to make interceptions or to close down a space or try and make tackles, and he needs someone beside him, someone more experienced. And that for me is why I can't see him playing alongside Joe Rodon in the back 4 this season, to be perfectly honest. I just don't think it's viable, because Rodon is the kind of player that needs to be alongside an experienced, kind of more pragmatic, level-headed player. And Romero Rodon, I think, is a recipe for disaster together, in the same way that I think Romero, and if we were to sign Maxence Lacroix, I think the two of them together in a back 4 as well is a recipe for disaster. But Romero can play in the two of those. According to WhoScored.com, his strengths include aerial duels, ball interception, and concentration. One of his weaknesses is discipline. He commits, I think, something like 2.76 fouls per game in this area last season and was booked almost every second game. So he is an extremely rash player, which is very different to what we're used to. If you can essentially say he is replacing Toby Alderweireld at Spurs, there's definitely a bit of a difference there. But he's an extremely, extremely talented player. And I apologise for my camera issues there. That was happening just before I came live. But I will. A few super chats there to get to. Darkson G with the 5,000. You might be able to hear me again now. Saying, I'm happy that Romero wants to come to Spurs. At least our team still has name value to draw players like Romero. Hopefully we can get more. And that is one of those positive things that we can take from this, is despite the fact that we're not in the Champions League, despite the fact that we're a team who isn't really on the up and certainly has been in better positions in recent years, there's still players like Romero who wants to come to Spurs and is willing to step out of the Champions League to come into this project, or to this what is being built at this club by Fabio Paratici and Nuno Espirito Santo. And I think that's very important to us, and it does say a lot about the pull that this club still has. And I really apologise here for these camera issues, but I'm trying to get them sorted out. Another super chat there from Hey with the $5. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. Says, finally, here we go. Can Romero be a Van Dijk signing for us? I believe Romero with Sanchez can be a rock at the back. Sanchez can be very good for us. He can. I've said that kind of throughout this saga, that he certainly can be a Virgil van Dijk for us, but that doesn't necessarily mean he will be. Which I think is something that we do need to be wary of, because it'll take a lot for any player to have the Virgil van Dijk effect on a team, or like Ruben Diaz did at Manchester City. And if we're going to expect that from him, I think we're just setting ourselves up for disappointment, which is the last thing that we want to do within all of this. But he has the potential to be that. If it does happen, it will be a few years down the line. He's still only 23. You know, he's a young player as it is, but an even younger player in terms of centre backs, because you don't get centre backs of this age very, very often, who are such consistent players within their first team. He played, I think, 31 times in this area for Atalanta last season. And again, Jordan, I'm trying to fix these camera issues here, but I'm not quite sure what's going on, because I'm not exactly tech savvy. But yeah, he can be that player for us. But I think it's setting ourselves up for disappointment if we are to expect it from him. But definitely something that we can kind of hope for, because I don't think there's any point in sitting here and simply just kind of expecting him to fail, or expecting him to be a bit of a flop, with as a lot of our signings tend to be, like Davinson Sanchez, our last big centre back signing. So look, let's get excited. Let's get pumped up for this one. A few people there saying I'm containing my excitement. For me, it's just I've been expecting this deal to get done for 4 or 5 days now. I think it's just been dragged on too long. And I think I'm back there. You might be able to see me. I think it's just been dragged on for too long. And with the whole Kane situation going on behind the scenes in this as well, I think as Alistair Gold put it in his video earlier tonight, it's like, here's this really nice thing that you can look at, but I'm going to cover it with this terrible thing. And I want you to focus on this instead, which is kind of heartbreaking and what you'd expect from Spurs. But I'm very excited about this one. You can go back and look at my first video I did about signing him. I'm really pumped to get him in. Jiminy with the $8 says, is this for real? Also, I'm not going to lie, I felt sad seeing Lamella's Instagram about Sevilla. Going to miss his antics. It is for real. It is. Fabrizio Romano has said, here we go, Romero will be a Tottenham player in the next couple of days. I was certainly sad seeing Lamella go as well. I think we've lost something with him that you don't really get from a lot of players. And we're also kind of losing a player who just hasn't performed for us and hasn't been as good as we expected in the time that we've had him. But that kind of greediness and that determination is something you don't always get from players. We're certainly losing that with Eric Lamela. But Brian Gill, a fantastic player to come in. But the best news of all is, of course, that Cristian Romero is set to sign for Spurs. Also, for anyone who may have missed in the last 10 or 15 minutes, Spurs have confirmed the sale of Joe Hart to Celtic. So I'll be adding that to my graphics here on the side of the screen very shortly. They're not up there just yet, but that sale has been confirmed officially by the club. Joe Hart joined Celtic, believed to be on a 3-year contract, and he said as well that Joe Hart put up in his Instagram story that he was on the plane. He said, "Let's go," and he had a green love heart. I think in that moment we all confirmed. It was all confirmed that he was going to be going. The Athletic have said in the last couple of minutes, Tottenham are keen to sell Davinson Sanchez and bring in yet another centre back this window. Tomiyasu is also expected to join this month. So look, Romero is in. that is not going to impact the signing of another centre-back. We still want to get rid of Sanchez, who at the moment is a key target of Sevilla, and we want to get in another centre-back. That could be Nikola Milenkovic from Fiorentina. I personally don't think the sale of a centre-back will be reliant on him coming in, because it is only €15 million that Fiorentina are looking for. He's into the last year of his contract. Tomiyasu is also expected to join this one. So if the Athletic are to be believed, it's Romero plus Tomiyasu plus one. Whoever else Spurs can get in. And the departure of Jules Koundé from Sevilla to Chelsea is looking increasingly likely at the moment, and it's looking even more likely that Kurt Zouma will not be part of that deal. So Chelsea had initially offered between 30 and 40 million pounds plus Kurt Zouma. However, Zouma has declined the move to Spain. He's now out of that deal, and Chelsea are pursuing this one purely on a cash basis, up and around 70 million euros. So Jules Koundé going to Chelsea. Sevilla need a centre back. They want Davinson Sanchez. They can maybe get that done, and Spurs can go and move for another centre back, whether that's Milenkovic or Zouma or Lacroix, whoever it is. It'll be covered right here in this channel, and we'll be going through everything you need to know about these targets that we have. The Irish Hats for David just says, woo, bit of a... I'm not going to be doing all of those because there's quite a few there, but David, good to see you in. I know David has been really, really excited about getting this deal done, and I'm very glad to see it's in there. I saw Bobby in the live chat as well a while ago, said, looks like Matt's camera failed to turn up for work today. It did, but I've got it back. Bobby also says a statement signing. Can't wait to see him holding the shirt. Big up, buddy. Big up to yourself as well, Bobby. And that's it. Just getting him to see to hold that jersey is going to be the most exciting moment of this one. More and more reports flooding in this Tuesday afternoon as Tottenham look to get this deal over the line. And Matteo Moretto, an analyst journalist from Calcio Mercato, who's been very heavily involved in this story, says Cristian Romero pushed a lot to join Tottenham Hotspur. He has been very clear from the first moment, and that's what we've been told all along. It's been almost a week, if not more, since Cristian Romero actually agreed personal terms with Tottenham on a 5-year contract with the option for a 6th year. He wanted this deal from the start, and I think him pushing with Atalanta to get that deal over the line is what has gotten us to this point with the here we go from Fabrizio Romano. Owen says, tuning in from work again, Matt, keep it up. Cheers, Owen. Always good to see you in the live chat. Now, where this deal is now is, of course, Tottenham have agreed a deal with Atalanta. The player is going to be flying out to London tonight to actually finalise everything on his part. I assume it's a medical and things like that. That could already have been done. You know, if we know the bid was put in on Friday and Atalanta were waiting to get their the replacement before they let him go. These formalities could have been completed over the weekend. There's nothing to say that hasn't happened if Atalanta were kind of in a position where they knew they were going to accept the bid and things like that. So that all that could have been done. Also, the same could be said about Atalanta actually purchasing the player from Juventus, because this needs to be reiterated. Cristian Romero, as we know it, in the public eye right now, is a Juventus player. So Atalanta will need to trigger their €16 million option to buy him from Juventus so they can then sell him on to Tottenham. That could just kind of drag this one out, maybe by an extra day. But again, that all could have been done behind the scenes at the weekend as Tottenham were awaiting the official reply from Atalanta on their €50 million bid, rising to 55, potentially 57. Charlie Eccleshare, as we said there, Takehiro Tomiyasu is expected to join Tottenham this month. So that's 2 defenders in, with what we expect to be a third coming in, depending on the departure potentially of Davinson Sanchez. We're going to take a look at a bit at a few kind of analyses of Cristian Romero and take a look at kind of who he is, because I can sit here and say he's aggressive. He has this many fouls, this many tackles and all that. But we're going to look a bit more in depth at what he could bring to Spurs. Hey, with another super chat with the $5. Thank you so much. You're always popping in with those super chats. I do massively appreciate it. It says, I'm not quick to sell on Sanchez. There's a reason why Sevilla want him, why we want to get rid of him. Give Sanchez another chance with Romero. And that is a very good point there. I think in terms of Sevilla wanting us and us not wanting him, it just depends on what league he's better suited to. And he really suited the Eredivisie when he was there with Ajax. He's kind of struggled in the Premier League after a decent enough first season, but he just seems like the type of player who I think would thrive in the La Liga or in the Serie A. So maybe that's why Sevilla want him. But giving him a chance with Romero could be an interesting point, and one that maybe Tottenham fans are writing off a bit too soon. Maybe Paratici and Nuno are writing it off too soon, because they're 2 very young centre-backs, and one that, if they could play together for a couple of years, could develop an incredible partnership and go on to be fantastic for Spurs. But I just think Davinson Sanchez has had too many chances for us to sit here and demand that he gets another chance, if that makes sense. You know, if he gets it, all well and good, it might work out. But I don't think he's necessarily deserving of it, given the poor performances we've seen from him in recent years. Jiminy with the $8. Jiminy, thank you very much again. I'm actually excited for a transfer season for once. Regardless of what happens with Kane, I think we will be okay, even if the worst happens. And look, if the worst happens with Harry Kane, I think the worst at the moment is 160 or 150 million pounds coming in for him. We let him go. We can then get Dusan Vlahovic in for 50 million from Fiorentina. Maybe get Lautaro Martinez for 80 million instead from Inter Milan. And there's a lot of money there to spend. So I think the fact that Spurs are holding out for Harry Kane for 160 million euro or pounds for him. I think we're in a situation where it's not a win-win, but it's a win and not quite a loss if we do lose him because of how we can reinvest that money. But it is getting exciting now with some other potential deals getting over the line. As well, I'm going to take another quick look at Twitter because the posts are absolutely flowing in. Just there's the updates from Charlie Eccleshare, from Matteo Moretto, and just pretty much all the same stuff there. And Sky Sports also saying this deal is done and he signed a 5-year contract with Spurs, and it's very exciting, as I keep on saying, and one that I think we really need to start getting even more excited about, because now this is over the line. There's big stuff coming for Spurs, and again potentially another centre back as well. Alaric says Romero and whoever is next to him will be our next Toby and Jan. Look, it's going to be big for Spurs if we can get that done, but I'd say along the same lines as thinking of Romero as our next Van Dijk, we probably need a lot to go our way in order for that to happen. So this is Running the Show blog that have done this analysis of Cristian Romero. They've said, if you're not an avid follower of Italian football, you might only have a vague notion of who Cristian Romero is. However, if you've watched Italian football keenly in the last 3 seasons, you will be under no illusions as to how talented this central defender is. In fact, the 22, now 23-year-old Argentinian has actually been one of the best defenders in Europe this season and looks set to continue his development towards becoming one of the continent's most impressive defenders. And people such as Fabrizio Romano have said he is one of the best centre-backs in Europe. He is one of, if not the most exciting young centre-backs. Again, 23 for a centre-back is very young. It is very young. And the fact that he's ready to step into the first team straight away, I think, goes to show just how much talent he has. Romero came to Italy in 2018 when he joined Genoa. His rise since has been steady. In his first season, he impressed enough to motivate Juventus to buy him for 26 million euro. He was then loaned back to Genoa for the 2019-20 season too, as Juventus wanted to give him a chance to continue his development by playing week in, week out. In total, Romero made 57 league appearances for Genoa in those 2 seasons and adapted seamlessly to the demands of constantly changing coaches. Incredibly, in his 2 campaigns at Genoa, Romero was coached by 6 permanent head coaches, whose styles sometimes differed quite drastically. As such, the young Romero has already had to adapt to different coaching methods and defensive systems. Last summer, Romero was handed another loan move. This time he joined the talented developing juggernaut that is Atalanta. The Bergamo club has produced and improved talent consistently over the last 5 years, and Romero has proved no different. He has been a crucial member of Atalanta's defence and has slotted perfectly into the head coach Gianpiero Gasperini's aggressive nature of defending and progressive attacking play, and that I think is where he fits in to a lot of what Tottenham want in terms of, first of all, having 6 different coaches at Genoa. The fact that he has at such a young age been forced into situations where he has to adapt these different footballing styles and these different tactical ideas that he is in every single one strived in. And then at Atalanta last year, when he undoubtedly had his best season, playing consistently across that 9-month season, playing in an aggressive nature of defending and progressive attacking play. That's what we want to instigate at Spurs this season, and that's what Nuno Espirito Santo wants his team to be playing like. So he has that ability, and again, it's the one where he looked the best. Juventus could certainly have done with his abilities this term. Juventus, of course, scraped into the Champions League in the last day of the season, and they must rue the decision they made by allowing Atalanta to have the option to buy Romero come the end of the season. It remains to be seen if Atalanta exercise that option, but if they don't, it will be due to Romero's wish to go back to Turin rather than Atalanta not wanting to keep him. So that's actually a very interesting point there, that Cristian Romero has the option to make that move to Atalanta permanent. So right now, where we're at right now, he has the chance to go back to Juventus. It is his choice. He can go back to Juventus next year, or he can come to Tottenham now, and he's choosing Tottenham. I think that's really important, and I actually hadn't thought of it, that it was his choice to make that move permanent. Daxon G with 5001, thanks so much for that, says, now we need 1 more centre-back, 1 right-back, 1 defensive midfielder, 1 attacking midfielder, and 1 striker within 2 seasons, and hopefully top 4 will be OSB plus quality. And I'm glad you said within 2 seasons there, because that is really important. We're not going to get all of our business done this summer. We might get close to it. I think we will get more than halfway, but it's not going to get done this summer. And I agree with all the positions you've identified there. Maybe even a right winger as well to bring in, but we do need to bring in a lot more players. And as much as we're happy with this signing, it's very important also to note that we're still a long way away from where we need to be and where we want to be. Back to Romero, running the show, say, playing in the Champions League against sides like Ajax, Liverpool and Real Madrid has highlighted that Romero is ready for the highest level of competition, and while it looks likely that Atalanta might qualify for the Champions League again, Romero is ready for even bigger clubs. Kind of ironic that he's now moved down to the Europa Conference League. Juventus still own him, of course, but they've also heavily invested. That's just him saying that there should be targets, or he would be target of bigger clubs. About his aggressive front foot defending, which is something I've harped on quite a bit about. Again, that's why he can play alongside a Lacroix or Joe Rodon, or even a Jaffa Tanganga for that matter. Romero is a very quick and aggressive centre-back who has thrived playing in intense man-orientated defensive systems. At Genoa, Romero often played as a right-sided centre-back in a back three. Under Gasperini, however, Romero has been moved into the central centre-back position of Atalanta's back three. Again, versatility there within different central defensive systems. From there, Romero has had to lead, since that position is crucial to hold Atalanta's defence together. Indeed, Romero has emerged as the organiser of Atalanta's defensive line and has been responsible for keeping the defensive line high by constantly pushing up. So he's a leader within that defence. He controls that defence and he's in charge of it. Another incredible attribute that we need within our new centre-back signing. Due to his aggressive style of play, he has thrived in Atalanta's man-orientated defensive systems. Often, Romero is tasked with directly marking an opposition striker and then uses his physicality, speed and reading of the game to nullify his opponents. Among all centre-backs in Europe's top 5 leagues, Romero is in the 99th percentile for pressures, successful pressures in the middle third and interceptions, and in the 98th percentile for pressures in the defensive third, tackles and tackles won. So some of these stats are ones that I was looking at for Jules Koundé and saying he was really impressive in those. Romero's even better. These highlights, the highlights there, say they show how good Romero really is. As stated, he reads the game exceptionally well, as highlighted by his interceptions, and he's equally adept at tackling and pressing opponents. Highlighting his overall defensive ability, Romero was also in the 95th percentile for ball recoveries, in the 93rd percentile for blocks, and in the 91st percentile for aerials won. So he seems to be incredible and in the top 10% of defenders around Europe for almost every defensive kind of stat and area you could look for. Incredible. All in all, he is a complete defender, capable of pushing out of the defensive line to defend in midfield, as well as defending crosses into the box with his excellent aerial ability and positioning. The Yid Kid, good to see you in the live chat, says Fabio got Romero. Paratici is such an important cog in this. He's the reason this deal got done. But I was watching Alistair Gould's video earlier today, and he kind of highlighted just how much Fabio Paratici has had to do with Romero's development. So he went to Genoa initially, then Paratici brought him from Genoa to Juventus and loaned him back out to Genoa, which proved to be a very important move within Romero's career. Then Paratici is the one who sold him to Atalanta and put that €60 million buy option in there to make that permanent to Atalanta. And now he's leaving Atalanta to go to Fabio Paratici at Tottenham. It's an incredible kind of roller coaster there, and Paratici involved every single step of the way. Jiminy with $8 says, I want to give a shout out to Sonny for being so loyal and dedicated to the club. He's a legend. We need to win a trophy even more now. He deserves it. And absolutely. Sonny's loyalty to this club is absolutely immense and is not matched by any player on this team. I wouldn't have said that a week ago, but it's certainly true now that his loyalty to Tottenham is unmatched by any other player in that side. On Romero's ball playing ability, and I'm seeing a lot more stats here in high percentiles, Romero really excels defensively, but he's also a very good asset to have in possession. Due to his power and technical ability, Romero can often bring the ball out of defence by dribbling through an opposition press. This is highlighted by him being in the 99th percentile for goal creating actions from dribbling. That is utterly insane. That is absolutely bizarre for a centre-back, a central defender, to be in the 99th percentile for goal creating actions from dribbling is actually, I can't even understand how impressive that is. That's a stat that is actually flabbergasting me. Actually, he's in that percentile for all goal creating actions and in the 98th percentile for expected assists. This is a centre-back that creates goals. I had never seen that stat before, and it's actually almost scaring me how positive that is. He's in the 99th percentile for goal creating actions from dribbling, and in the 98th percentile for expected assists and all goal creating actions. That's just a joke. His passing is very good too, with Romero capable of passing out from the back, as highlighted by him being in the 90th percentile for passes under pressure. Additionally, Romero was useful higher up the pitch too, with him in the 93rd percentile for through balls among his fellow central defenders in Europe's top 5 leagues. What these stats tell us more than anything is that Romero was not only useful defensively, but also a very good player to have in order to aid progression of the ball. I'm falling more in love with this player as I read this article. Romero compared to other top centre-backs, So, very interesting one here. We've looked at a lot of stats here, so why not continue by comparing Romero to some other centre-backs from Europe's top leagues. Again, this is courtesy of running the show. I'll put the link in the description after the video is over. So this blog decided to compare him to Virgil van Dijk during Liverpool's title-winning campaign, which is what I did a lot with Jules Koundé, Victor Lindelof during the season just gone, Sevilla's Jules Koundé, and Juventus duo De Ligt and Demiral. Romero's defensive stats are off the scale. He averages 2.98 tackles per 90 minutes, which is head and shoulders above the others, with Demiral the closest at 1.57. So he averages double the amount of tackles of Van Dijk per 90 minutes, which is, yes, of course, a lot of that is down to the reliance that Atalanta have on their defence, more so than Liverpool. Joe says, Matt, stop it, you're making me more excited. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. Romero is also outstanding in terms of interceptions, averaging 3.24 interceptions per 90, more than 2 per game more than his closest challenger. Demiral again at 1.18, which is interesting because, of course, Demiral looks to be replacing him at Atalanta. Romero's aggressive nature can be seen in the number of pressures he averages. The Argentine averages a whopping 17.8 pressures per 90 minutes, almost twice the number of Demiral's, who again stacks up best amongst the others with 9.9. Van Dijk is the strongest of the 6 in the air, as he averaged 4.82 aerial duels won at an 81% success rate. Romero was second, winning 3.94 with a 68% success rate. This is actually... he's the best defender in the world, and I'm saying that now. Going forward, Romero's ability to step out with the ball stacks up well too, as he completes 0.43 dribbles per 90 minutes, which is only beaten by Koundé's 1.04 dribbles per 90 minutes. Romero isn't as involved as the others in build-up play though, as highlighted by him having the fewest touches per 90, which could be partly explained by the others playing at teams who use more patient build-up patterns than Atalanta. He is, however, third for shot creating actions. Romero 0.64 per 90, bettered by Koundé's 0.77 and De Ligt's 0.76. Govan with the £2 says, now we need to get Tomiyasu over the line, and we do, and it looks like we will, which is very important, but potentially another centre-back coming in as well, Govan, depending on the future, of Davinson Sanchez. But thank you for that super chat. The conclusion here is one that is rather positive for us. As we've seen by now, Romero is performing at a very high level and looks ready to move to one of Europe's biggest clubs. Is he doing that? I'll leave that for you to decide. He would need a period to adapt to a more ball-oriented defensive system, as most top teams use, but he has the abilities to perform in every defensive system imaginable. His physicality is an asset, his reading of the game is excellent, and his ability on the ball is very good, so Romero is a defender for the biggest scene. Arsenal and Man United should look at him. Funny. Barcelona will be an ideal destination, and of course his parent club should try to bring him back, blah blah blah. Regardless of where he ends up, Cristian Romero has a very bright future ahead of him. That is a centre-back that Spurs are buying. That is a centre-back Spurs are getting for £7 million cheaper than Arsenal are paying for a centre-back who's had one season of top-flight football in his career. I think that's all we need to know about that one. Ekram Koner now as well saying, Tottenham have completed the transfer of Cristian Romero. The news continues to flow in. Calcio Mercato say that Cristian Romero has pushed a lot to join Tottenham Hotspur and was clear from the first moment that he wanted to join the club. Up to Joe chiming in to say Cristian Romero averaged more tackles and interceptions per 90 with 5.6 than any other player in the Serie A last season. Another extremely impressive stat there. And that's it. Cristian Romero to Tottenham, here we go. See, Fabrizio Romano just uploaded a video there, which I recommend everybody goes to watch, because I'll be doing that now anyway. Please hit the like button on your way out. It would be absolutely fantastic for me if you did. Let's see what number it's at now. We're at 146 likes, so let's get that up to 200 as quickly as we can, because there's 730 people watching right now, so I'm sure we can get that to 200. If you are happy with the signing of Cristian Romero, smash that like button, and do hit that subscribe button as well on your way out. We just hit 11k yesterday. Let's try and get 12k. Why not? Let's say big. So please do hit that subscribe button on your way out. It's fantastic news for Spurs. There will be more centre backs coming in this summer, but for now, Romero with Spurs, and as always, thanks for watching.